No, it's 1080 out of 1080. We're live now. It's 1080 out of StreamYard. So I'm on their week-long trial to see how it works, to see if the quality is better than 720 on the recording. Although it probably doesn't really matter for these talking head videos. It'd be a good test just to do kind of a side-by-side comparison. All right. Why is NAB? I just got an alert on my watch that NAB has mentioned that I'm speaking at the. Okay, well, thanks for the heads up, NAB. I like to find out with everybody else. Oh man. Hey, Craig Stampley's in the chat. Hey everyone. Hey, just for everyone's edification, this is the third test, I guess, Troy, in this Twitch live streamings, Twitch/live streaming experiment. This experiment is being streamed to 3 places right now. It's going to Facebook, Facebook. It's going to YouTube, and it's going to Twitch. So, and apparently from within the StreamYard interface, I can see everyone's chat. So I'm seeing people pop in there now, badged with the service that they're watching us on. Like I see, hey, Michael Rhino from Denver, badged with his YouTube icon. So we'll see if we're actually streaming to Twitch. You see us on Twitch? I see it. We're live on Twitch too. I see. So
you're gonna hear an echo there.
I heard me. Yes, we're on Twitch.
Got it.
Oh, nice. Yes. And Stampley is on Twitch and on YouTube. What the hell? Uh-oh. They allow that? You got enough bandwidth? You're soaking up all the Australian bandwidth right now, Craig. Stampley.
That is so awesome.
Stephen Sharp's in the house. Hey, Stephen. Welcome. We'll get started in just a second. Before we kick this thing off, Troy Miller, do you have any news or anything that you'd like to share before we kick this critique off?
Not at the moment. Everything is right on the precipice of making decisions. So I don't want to reveal anything, but I do. So we'll wait. We'll pause. So
yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on. If you were to remember Mixer, you know that there's a lot of I don't know, irons in the fire, oars in the ocean. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on that it's all good. It's all good stuff, but we just got to make sure that we're ironing out the wrinkles before we put on the pants, as it were. Since today is Analogy Day, apparently today is Analogy Day. Impoverish, welcome to the fray, man. How's it going?
I'm trying to. I can see the comments in StreamYard, which is very cool. But then I got to see where to comment back to everybody. So as your guest, it's super hard because I
can comment to all. This is interesting. So I can comment to all destinations. So Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube with a single, message, or I can designate which platform I want to send a message to. So, hey, Michael Voy, welcome.
Yeah, that's
welcome. Yeah, it's interesting. This UI is really, really interesting. I'm interested, not excited, interested to see how the recording looks for this and how the audio holds up. Because like I said, we're streaming at 1080 right now, so we'll see what the 1080 looks like compared to the 720.
Right. That's great. Now what's going to happen for me is they're going to chat to me in different channels, and I'm not going to be able to respond.
Yes, please do that. Please do a rotating rotating shield frequencies to destroy the Troy board.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Oh, Craig says he thinks it looks much better on Twitch. Interesting. Okay. Cool. That's good to go. Hey, low base guy is peeking in the house. What's up?
That's what they said last time, Frederick. When we streamed to Twitch, they like the audio better. They said that you and I didn't cut out as much, or I didn't cut out as much. So,
yeah, that's still an issue we have to solve because, there's some sort of, duplex thing going on that when I talk, it cuts you off, and and if you're talking when I'm talking, it just completely mutes you. And it's nothing that I've done here. It's strange because it doesn't happen on any other call, just between us. John Harrison from Amsterdam. What's up?
On Facebook. Nice. Welcome, John.
I want to go to Amsterdam. That's on my list. That is on my list.
I want to go anywhere.
You can go anywhere you want as long as it's a home. You're free to move about the United States relatively, but if you want to go outside, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
All right. Let's start this before we get everybody depressed. All right. Low base says, so it forces you to be courteous to one another. How terrible. No, it's not courteousness. It forces us back into 1980 CB radio chat where I feel like I have to say over after every sentence. So Troy knows it's clear for him to talk. So, all right. What do you say we dive in, man?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Let's go into the photo critique. And this will be we'll make this actually, I'm not going to. I was going to edit this because normally I bring this down and edit it and chop off all the chit chat. We didn't chit chat too much. We only chit chatted a little. So I think we'll leave it like this and see what it looks like. All right. So let's go in and bring up the screen share. All right. Here's This Week in Photo, the community. Let's see if I can't get that a little bigger on everybody's screen. We want maximum image effectiveness. There we go. That's better. That's a little better. Well, let me go higher or lower. That's interesting. Oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. It just takes it a second to snap into place. Okay. All right. Here we go. This week's photo critique topic was plants, courtesy of Troy Miller. So, yeah, and we had lots of plant submissions in here, as you can see. Lots and lots of plants, although some of them, I'm not sure if they qualify as plants, but we will discuss it.
That was a plant at one time.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and put us both on the screen here and step right in. So Jim Peters is first. All right, Jim Peters. Jim Peters says, simple yellow rose. This morning's capture indecision left me with too many choices, so I defaulted to this morning's walk. Let's take a look.
Oh, very nice.
The yellow rose.
I like the yellow rose. Flowers are one of those kind of things that they're always cool. There's so many subtle shapes and intricacies within a flower that they're just beautiful no matter how you photograph them. So, I like that. I think.
Yeah, go ahead. I know what you're going to say, but go ahead.
Oh, no, go. You go.
I like channeling Troy Miller because it's like, after what is this? This is critique 131 or something. After so many critiques, I feel like I know the algorithm that is Troy Miller. So the algorithm, the AI, it would say, I feel like there's too much weight on the left side with that rose in the background. So maybe crop in a little bit and lose some of the black on the left, or crop in on the flower a little bit so that the flower in the upper left is not as pronounced, so that the hero of the image becomes the one in the middle. I do like the vignetting on that, and that's in the, it kind of frames the photo, but just a little, because the space on the left is, you're losing me in that abyss. That's what Troy would say. Am I right? Or am I wrong?
You got to say with authority, though. That's just it. You got
that's how I hear your voice, though, Troy.
Oh, jeez. All right, I got to work on the radio voice a little bit.
Yes.
Yes. So everything you said about this photo is accurate. So for me, putting the flower dead center, having all of that space around it, it really doesn't show off the flower. So even though you didn't have a whole lot of time, you could push in really close. You could do a macro shot. You could get just a pattern of the flower, hint to what it is, as opposed to this is obvious. So I would say, maybe take this image, crop it in tighter, get in some of those petal patterns, if you will, and that'll make it a little bit more abstract and get rid of some of those distractions around the outside.
Yeah, these are cool. I love the flower shots, like you said, are they're always different. I think that's what's interesting about flowers. They're like much like people, right? They're always
right.
No matter what, day to day, it's always going to be a different shot, different angle, different state of maturity, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, flowers are awesome. All right, moving on to the next shot. Thank you, Jim Peters. Next shot up is from Nora Zanotness. Nora says the bee magnet. The bright yellow stamens attracted every pollinator in the area. I was trying to photograph the beautiful pink flowers of this windflower, but the photo bombing insects wouldn't stop. Joshua probably is familiar with that. Changed my plans and went with the flow. Yeah, they're like, we will be in this photo, whether you like it or not. We will be in this photo.
Oh God.
Come on, that's dad humor. Come on.
That's not too bad. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
This is great. This is great. And this is one of those kind of things like with Jim's photo before with the flower, push in. You don't have to take the whole scene, right? Just a piece of it will let us have a good sense of what's going on. And low bass guy says, "Oh, be serious."
Come on, low bass. Don't be like that.
I really dig it. I really do. I'm going to suggest that we crop off the left side where the depth of field just starts to fall off, right? Like keep the stamen the one that's in focus and then maybe a little bit to the left, prop it there. Because I don't think we need everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the hero thing, right? We always talk about the hero. Who's the hero? Who's the star of the photo? And this shot, it's interesting because considering the topic of this critique, it's it's plants, right? So the plant should be the hero of the shot, but that bee, like you said, is photobombing. So who is it? Is it the bee or is it the flower?
I think
is it the yeah, you can't see stamens.
I know, I just read that. The more snarky the chat gets, the harder it's going to be for us to focus.
I know. We need to designate a chat moderator.
Right. I love the fact that the bee is shallow depth of field, the foremost, the eye, and that frontmost antenna is in focus. This is an image that you could crop a number of different ways. So I'm going to say there's no right way. There's just going to be people's preferences. You could even crop this square and center the bee and have a little bit of the flower in the lower left corner, and I think you still have an amazing winner. So good job.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but look at the sharpness of that. That's low bass guy level sharpness on that eye right there.
Yeah.
I love it. Hey, Eric Pronsky's in the house. Hey, welcome. All right. Nora, thank you for the shot. Love it. Hey, so she bordered this one, and we've been having that sort of ongoing discussion about, to be or not to be, as it be as in border. Does it work here? Or is there ever a question I can ask you, hey, does the border work on this photo? To which you will say no. I don't think you will ever say no if I ask you about border. It
depends on context. In the context of streaming, I think that we should always have a border because in Mighty Networks, the images are always presented on white. So it always makes sense to put a black border. If you were to print this and hang it on a wall, like a metal print or an acrylic print or something, no, you don't have to put a border on that. So it depends on where it's presented.
Yeah. That's interesting. That is a really that's the point that I hadn't considered because the ultimate presentation is the whole point of all this, right? So if you're shooting a photo and your ultimate destination is, let's say, Instagram, then the photo and the presentation of that photo, and I would argue all the way down to the post-processing of that photo, are going to be dependent on what that end experience should be, right? So, but if the end experience is intended to be hung on a wall, it's going to be different, right?
Right. Like if I wanted my image right now on the stream to stand out, I would put a border on it.
Oh, let me bring your
video. What I did there? See what I did there? Look at that.
This is wrong.
Bam.
Are you still wearing bell bottoms and flared collars too, Troy Miller?
Hey, this border is on every proof that I print and deliver to my clients, and it's on 80% of the images that I sell.
Okay. What
So
does that mean, though? What does that mean? That's like McDonald's saying billions and billions served, right? That doesn't make it good.
no, it works. It works. My clients love it.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, we talked about that. I mean, that's part of the that's part of your sauce, right? And that's what they come to you for. Your clients come to you because they know, if they didn't like it, it's like moving to LA and complaining about traffic. It's like don't move to LA if you can't deal with traffic.
I do want to qualify though that this border was pre-digital. I have had that border, my frame border on my prints before 2004. This was actually an overlay that I bought with my lab so that we could print our proofs with this border. And when they went out of business, I want to say it was like in 2004, I kept the overlay. It cost me like $800 to buy the overlay for the lab, for the printing lab at the time. And so I scanned it and I made it. And so I've been using that before Instagram. I'm dating myself.
Yeah, but you are. Do you remember? Here's a dating thing. Do you remember there was an era where ripped page edges was the rage, like ripped paper, and we used to like literally take printer paper and rip it and then scan that and then build a border out of that for an alpha channel to load it in and mask out the image behind it. Did you ever do that for actual paid work? No. Yeah, no. It was all experimental.
No, I did very little. I did very little of the special effects kind of stuff because I wasn't a big fan. But when I saw this border on my proofs, I loved it. And part of it was it set me apart from every other photographer that delivered proofs. Whether I absolutely love that border or not, it was a way for my work to look different. And then, of course, now it's funny. Now it's a standard. So if a friend of a friend sees a photo and it has that sloppy border, like, oh, did you hire Imagery Concepts?
Oh, so interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Hey, Good Dog's in the chat. Good Dog says, back in my day, making fun of us. I didn't say my day, Good Dog. I said the day. There's a difference between saying back in the day and back in my day. I think it's like a 10-year difference or something.
Yeah, but it's back in our day. It's really just...
That's right. And Low Base Guy is on a tear here. He says, wait till This Week in Photo tells you about matting in the back of covered wagons. We were lucky if we had covered wagons, my friend. Covers didn't come along until like the 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s, something like that.
Yeah.
All right, let's move right along.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nora. That was good. Always good stuff from Nora Zanotnis. I'm so glad she is in the community.
Yeah, I love her work. I love everybody's work.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of somebody I'm happy is in the community, Stephen Sharp's up next. Stephen Sharp says a tribute to Edward Weston.
Yeah.
Look at this. I don't know. This makes me feel funny. Is Twitch gonna censor this shot? It looks too sexual. I don't know.
Twitch maybe.
I know, right? I know.
Even you should have named this pepper number 30 and a half. Edward Weston's pepper
Edward Weston tribute. Yeah,
it was number 30. Yeah, so
I love it. What do you think of the shot? Clearly, it fits in the category for this. This is a plant, obviously, but what do you think of the processing and the tones?
I really enjoy it. I mean, right away, I knew this was an homage to Edward Weston. I think that Edward Weston's image is so classic, and I really love the tones of this. I love the lighting of this. I really wish the lower right-hand corner of the pepper was in focus. It's soft. And I think that with an image like this and the time, a static subject, you have time to focus stack and get that sharp all the way through. But just absolutely wonderful. And I love the composition and the dark lighting. And yeah, it's great. It's really good.
Yeah. This is really cool. What do you think about the black and white? So when I look at this, my brain, I love the photo, first of all, set the stage. When I look at this photo, my brain is like, is it red or is it green? Which one is it? Which pepper is this? My brain wants to know how to react to it. Do you think it would have been equally successful in color as it is in black and white, or is black and white the route for this? And he's a tribute to Edward Weston, so yeah, I understand the black and white direction, but if you're going to take it in a different direction,
I I think that it's better in black and white because it removes the color that would otherwise distract us and helps us focus on the shape. And I think that's where, doing still life and things like this, that's where monochromatic really comes in, right? Because you really aren't distracted. Your brain isn't distracted by the color. It's more about the shapes, kind of like where things are going. What does it look like to me? And I like that. I like that a lot. I think that it would have been cool to get rid of the stem somehow. Maybe the way that you turn it, because in Edward Weston's image, and I don't mean to compare this to Edward Weston's, but the thing about that one is there's no stem. So is it a vegetable or is it not? Like, it's super abstract. So it's just sort of the study of the shape and the form, but as presented, I like it. I just wish that lower right hand corner had more depth of field.
You know what? I was watching this YouTube video. Geez, what was this? Yeah, it was day for yesterday. But it was the photographer was talking. This is part of my exploration into iPad photography, post processing, and all that. We've been having that thread on This Week in Photo.
Right.
But I was watching this video that was talking. The photographer's process was that he set his camera to always see, no matter what, in black and white. And, he had his own special formula of black and white dialed in, a little bit punchy, a little bit contrasty. And his rationale for doing that was because obviously, like we say on the show, color distracts from you. And, as a photographer, you want to see in shapes, especially when you're composing, you want to see in shapes and lines, and color can distract from that. And he was saying when he shoots, he sees the shot better in black and white. Obviously, he's shooting raw, so it's not really black and white, but what he sees is black and white. Where do you fall on that? And do you do something similar when you're out shooting weddings?
So after having shot for so long, I can pretty much pre-visualize whatever I want. So no, I don't shoot in black and white anymore. I did for a long time. When I shoot in infrared, obviously I see it in black and white, but I certainly suggest new photographers or photographers that just sort of want to get out of their rut, set your cameras to black and white. And the monochromatic screen, just especially if you have a live view camera, like a mirrorless camera, you can do that. So when you look through the live view, you see black and white. You're going to see shapes and lines and compositional elements so much different than you would in color. So, yeah.
And that's what he was saying. Yeah, that's interesting that some people think that. And well, I mean, it makes 100% sense, but I wonder. I mean, on the other side of it, if color is an element in the photo that's important to the composition, then obviously you want to flick in the color so you can accurately judge what you're doing. Craig Colvin is in the chat, and Craig says, I often set my camera to black and white. It helps with abstracts and shapes. Yeah, and if you haven't seen Craig Colvin's work, go Google him or go to his site. Craig, I think it's Craig Colvin Photography. I don't think you can put a URL in here, but Craig Colvin Photography. .com, or just Google Craig Colvin, you'll find his stuff. Lots of really cool abstract fine art nudes and body shapes and stuff like that this kind of technique, looking in black and white, would seem like it lends itself to it very, very nicely.
Yeah, I wonder if I can drop a link in there. Let's see if you got your bot set up. Nope, you don't.
Yeah. Oh, my bot. The bot is on. That bot is not having it right now. All right.
Oh, maybe it did block it. Anyway, yeah, it just
I think it blocked it. Yeah, it blocked it. You may be on YouTube, but it blocked it here. All right, Stephen Scharf, thank you for that. Very nice. Hope you're feeling better, by the way, Stephen Scharf. All right, next up is Mark Harris. Okay, Mark Harris says, swimming through the plants made at a small local park pond. Every summer, the algae takes over most of it, though the geese don't seem to mind. Yeah, that's definitely, that is a whole ecosystem of plant action right there.
Oh my gosh, that's great. I picture this like some medieval warship, with you can see like the little wake in front and
yeah, exactly. You thought warship and I thought Thanksgiving Day parade float. You can see someone like where the wings kind of connect, waving. That's your little perch back there waving. Wow, this is a cool shot. I like this. Yeah, and that algae. Yeah, that is really cool. It makes you can almost smell it. like just looking at this shot. You can almost smell it. Yeah. What do you think of the composition?
I'm kind of struggling with the composition a little bit. I feel like if we took a little bit more off the top and made it horizontal, I think I would like it better. I feel like there's a lot of space at the top that we don't need, especially because the depth of field falls away so fast. There isn't anything even for our eyes to kind of hunt in. If there was space around, I would probably make it even a wider crop, right? Like just try to make the subject, the bird, smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree. You kind of want to get a feel, especially excuse me, since the topic of this is plants, right? So you want to get a feel for the vastness of the algae out there. Yeah.
Right. And sort of make the algae or the color your primary subject, and then make the goose or the bird your secondary subject, right? So make it smaller in the frame. But as it's presented, I would just crop like half of that top off. I don't think we need that. I don't think we need that top half.
Yeah, low base guy says I might have tried white balancing off the white feathers. Yeah, that would have made it pop a little bit more. And Good Dog is asking, is the eye in focus? I think it might be just a tad soft on the eye, just a little bit. Are you seeing that, Troy, or is it Mighty Network with its Thor hammer compression?
It's probably a little bit soft. It's you know what? It's almost impossible to tell. I would say that, an image like this, if you want to really get in and tune it, I would probably take some of that green cast out from underneath the neck of the bird. I don't know. I wonder what wildlife bird photographers would say. Would you leave that cast in there? Joshua, what would you do? Would you take that cast out, or would you leave it?
Yeah. Well, he says he would white balance off of the white feather, so sounds like he would neutralize it.
Yeah.
I like it though. Yeah, because you could take this. Couldn't you take this photo, Troy, into say Capture One and isolate the green and just make that crisp and pop, while not destroying the bird?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. One of the wonderful things about Capture One is that you could create a layer based on that color, which would mask out around that bird perfectly well. So then you could add focus or dehaze, basically, or tonality in the foreground, contrast, things like that. Yeah, you could really separate that. You could make that bird pop.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. This one's that low base guy is saying yes, he would pull it out, and Steven would pull it out too. You guys should get a room or something. I had to do it, and now the video's demonetized, just like that. Yeah. Also use selective color. Impoverished says.
Yeah, the thing that I like the most about doing it in Capture One, however, is that you have all the raw data behind it, as opposed to once you take it into Photoshop, you're dealing with less data, right? Because you're basically dealing with now a converted image, so you don't have all the same data bandwidth that you would have in the raw file. So you can just push it further in raw. But yeah, absolutely easy to select and bring that bird out.
Very cool. Awesome. So what are you thinking so far, Troy, of this this whole StreamYard interface that we're using here?
You know what? I love it. I really do. I love all the chat that's happening. I like that we're in Twitch and we're on YouTube. I don't have Facebook.
And Facebook. I don't know how Facebook looks either. I'm afraid to go in Facebook. Facebook makes me depressed every time I go over there.
No.
I'm afraid to go in there. Yeah, I agree too. Yeah, this is really cool. It's not bad. It's interesting because this part of this test and doing this again through StreamYard is I have to travel later this week to go visit my dad in Vegas. And, I'm looking at this and I'm like, can I do the whole critique from the laptop without all this, lights, camera, action, professional stuff I have here? Can I do, I'll bring a microphone. Like I have a little Rode NT USB podcasting microphone. I can plug in to the Mac and just have that. And maybe I'll bring a mirrorless camera to plug into. But I wonder if I can do something with the same back-end mechanism that we have here, using StreamYard, and knock it out of the park sitting in the guest room at my dad's house. So we'll see.
I bet you can, as long as you got enough processor in that laptop.
Oh, I do. Yeah, the laptop is pretty beefy. It's pretty beefy.
Yep,
All
it's
right.
good.
All right. Let's return to our regularly scheduled critique.
It's so easy to get off topic.
I love getting off topic. That's what it's all about. All right. Next shot is from Eric Pronsky, who's also in the chat. I think he's still in there.
Yeah.
Eric says, Husashi Daisy among color on a tripod. I took an image at f4 to blur the background, and then another image at f11 for more detail at the center of the flower, and then composited them in Photoshop to create this image. One of the many spring flowers in Central Texas.
Oh, very clever, Eric. I like that you did that.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful.
I would probably crop it square. I think that round flowers dead center need to be square. I think that's just for me, I love the fact that the center of the flower is in focus and then it falls off to the edge. And the fact that you did that sort of very shallow out of focus background and stack them. Bravo. I love it.
Yeah. I agree. I don't know. I mean, I think the square crop. Yeah, I agree. From a strength of the image and a symmetry perspective, yeah, 100%. But then you got also, like we talked about before, you got to also factor in what the final destination is. So if this is destined to be in, like, if this was shot for a 16 by 20 frame or something, then this is the right crop for that. Or is it? I don't know. Is it? Because you can still mat a 16 by 20 to square if you wanted to. I don't know. What do you think?
You can. I'm a big I'm a big fan of, if it doesn't add something to the image, then take it out. So maybe it's color, or it's additional space, or it's a nick or a tear or a scratch, or if it doesn't add to the image, then remove it. So
it's the Marie Kondo school of image compositing. If it doesn't spark joy, then remove it from the photo.
There's also this idea that if you were a painter and you were sitting in front of a canvas, would you take the time to paint that extra space above and below the flower? Maybe that's the artist's choice. I would not, because that gives me more time for dinner. Or
it's interesting. I've never heard it put that way. That makes a lot of sense. Like if it's going to be days or hours of effort in order for you to add this compositional element versus being lazy and just leaving it in, which would you err towards, right? And most people would say, well, hey, you know what, that thing over there doesn't really add to the photos. I'm not going to spend days away from my family painting it.
Yep. And I think if you go through and you look at some of the classic images, whether they're photojournalists or they're like Edward Weston's or Ansel Adams, or just paintings in a gallery, there's almost no element that isn't intentional in the image. There's almost no accidental elements. And I think that's wonderful. I think that's part of the art, right? Choosing what's in there.
Yeah, it's like when during our Friday member mixer, we had our special guest Steve Richard join us. And, if I had $1 for every time he's used the word intent, I'd have a lot of money right now, right? So, shooting pre-visualization of the image well in advance, getting ready for the model with intent, putting the model in there, knowing what's going to happen and what your final image in your mind's eye is going to be with intent, and then executing with intent was like wow, that was pretty different from a lot of the ways that, or the way that a lot of photographers think these days.
Right. And if you're going to push the button on the camera, you got to own what's in the frame. You have control right up until you push the button. There should be no excuses like, oh, I didn't see the trash can. Like, take it out later.
Yeah, it's easy to say that, but then everything has you got to take with a giant grain of salt. Sometimes a salt lick, right? Because it's like if you're a street photographer and it's all serendipity, right? You're just walking around, you're like, oh, look at that, that's a great shot. You're not gonna. The intent that you shoot with might be, you know what? Today I'm gonna go walk around New York City and take pictures of old doors. That's your intent. So you're not okay, the light has to be right here, and it's not that. It's more serendipity. So the intent scale, I think, can slide depending on what your end result is and what you are as a photographer. If you want to, like, if you get excited about the art of building a ship in a bottle, right? It's not about the final piece. It's about every day after work, I go in, I'm going to work on the mast, and I'm going to put this, and the anchor is on Monday. I'm going to put the anchor in. If that's what your process is and you like that, then that's your intent to do that. But so,
right.
I don't know. What do I know? But I love this shot, though. I love the color palette of this. It's just a happy, like, who said that in there? Was it Joshua? It needs a happy little house in here. Yeah, no, it was impoverished. He said, yeah, it needs a happy little cabin. Yeah, it does. It's very happy.
Yeah, it'll make a nice Easter cover, card cover, said Good Dog. Yeah, great Easter colors, man. Yeah,
for sure. Hey, Stephen Sharp says, intent, visualization, realization, but your weakness is not in your technique.
You think this is air that you're breathing?
Stop trying to hit me and hit me. If anybody in the chat knows the reference, you better know the reference to that, or please remove yourself from the chat, right? Oh, man. All right. Moving on to the next one. We should do a movie reference for each image. Next shout up is Mark Charette. Mark Charette says, seeds float in water. Make what you will of it. Nature will do its thing. Oh, this freaked me out, man. It's like, I don't know what it is. There's some kind of condition that these kinds of repeating holes in things trigger something freaky in a lot of people's brains, and my brain is one of them.
Really?
It's just like something about a bunch of holes that are naturally created, just like, it's like gets under my fingernails. I don't know what it is. No disrespect to the image. I'm just talking about the nature of it all.
Yeah. Hey, Linda. Thanks for dropping in. Lotus flower pod. Yeah, I didn't know what that was. It's Good Dog says it's triophobia is a fear or disgust of closely packed holes.
I have it. I have that. It's not a fear. It is a disgust of it. Like, I don't know, like even like a beehive with the bees and the individual little, it just like freaks me out for some reason. I don't know why.
I dig it. I love
you're the one that also hates tomatoes, so your decision-making skills are suspect. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
I don't know either. So what do you think? What do you think of the shot?
I like it. I like the mystery of it. I like the weirdness of it. I like the fact that it isn't something that I think I've ever seen in nature. So I like the fact that it's unusual to me to see it in this context. I think that it's a little distracting the way that it's laid out. I understand, we'll call it the reeds or the growth on the outside acting as a frame, but we got that one shadow kind of coming in towards the pod in the middle. I'm not a fan of that. There's a glob of something on the right that's floating. I'm not a big fan of that. I think it could be better in black and white.
Because the color doesn't really add to it too much. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and it's not in focus all the way through the pod. So that's kind of a bummer. I feel like I wish it was better in focus all the way through.
What if he had cropped it? What if he had removed some of the elements, like, sort of the stray reflections and things floating, and then cropped in tight to kind of lean into the reflection and the symmetry of it? Do you think that would have been more successful?
I would have enjoyed seeing it cropped tighter, because I think that the pod floating with just water on the left and right would look better and make the pod itself stand out, as opposed to having those reeds of the grass on the outside. Now they kind of compete because they're equal color and they're equal sharpness, right? So if you just bring your hands up and you crop the outside and you leave just the pod with the reflection in the water, it stands out so much better.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I think you're if you cropped it like I said, and then maybe like you said, go black and white, That'd be interesting. I'm looking at this thing. It's still freaking me out as I look at it. Like right here, like right in this area right there. There's like something in there, like a face. There's somebody in there.
I like it. I like it. Yeah. You wouldn't enjoy. I have a series that I've been taking on my phone for probably 5 years now of drains. I love drains, like drains in the floor. Everywhere there's drains, and I always like the pattern.
I love that. Those don't bother me. Like man-made patterns are totally fine. I'm talking nature. When nature does it, it screws me up somehow. I don't know why. I don't know why. Hey, Linda Kerdman, welcome. Welcome to the fray.
Oh, and Linda said sticks are actually stems from the plants. They grow in tight together. Okay. Yeah, I would crop those out. I would definitely crop those out, clean up that reflection, get rid of that little goober on the right, and maybe black and white. Try it.
Yeah. Okay. Moving right along. Mark Charette, thank you.
Now everybody's going to start posting images into you.
Seeds float in water, make of it what you will. Nature will do its thing, of course. All right. Next shot up is from Craig Stamfley. He says, just around the corner. Look at this. That's killer. I love that. That is killer. That's one hell of a tripod you got there, man.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at it on my left monitor so I can see it a lot bigger. I just love that. I didn't see the boat on the right. I saw the boat on the left first. I'm wondering how everybody else did, if they saw that first. I really do. I really appreciate this a lot. This is really great. It feels like it's twisted a little too far clockwise, though. What
do you mean? Because it's the edge over on this side is not the same as over here. You want it rotated counterclockwise, like a tick or two?
Yeah. I would want to play with it to see, right? To see if we can get those edges more similar, or maybe even get the two boats on the same horizon. Well, that's not really horizon, right? But on the same
parallel. Yeah.
Something. It feels a little off.
But yeah, that doesn't bother me. I mean, when I agree that it's not symmetrical and balanced like that, but I think that adds to it because it's nature. Nature isn't supposed to be symmetrical or balanced to that degree, especially something like this. So when I look at it, I see the intent of the photographer of creating a balance and a symmetry with the boats and then the foliage on the water there and then the big tree in the middle. I can see what he was going for. In fact, if you draw out lines in Photoshop, you could probably see exactly where he was going. And I think if there's enough image data here, he probably could have easily gone where you were talking about, where you rotate a little bit, make that the top edge fit better. Right. And even if these boats weren't right, they're on water, so it's easy enough to move those in the water. So, but I kind of like it. I kind of like it off balance because it says this is natural. Nature is not balanced. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's the matter of the artist to decide. I think that, and this is just sort of our nitpicking and our perspective. For me, I want to see the land mass, and I don't know what those things are, like lily pads or some kind of plant in the water. I feel like I want to see that mass more balanced. I'm okay with the boats not being on the same horizon, but I would play with that because that's symmetry. Even in nature, even though there's not perfect symmetry in some of these things, this is how we turn our head, right? I mean, you pushed the button at this moment, so you chose, whether it's twisted or not. So
yeah, I like it too. What do you think of the color treatment, balance, processing?
It needs to be color. Yeah, that green is fantastic against that dark water. I
agree. I was talking more of how do you think he did with the color processing? Did he pop the greens enough? Or are they too much? Is too much yellow in there? Not enough? What do you think?
I like it. I think it's great. I hope that in the real image, when I say it's not on Mighty, right, online compressed, that we have some detail in the left shadow area. I would like to see a little bit of detail in there if possible. Maybe there's not, because the water isn't just reflecting, so we might lose it. But
yeah, cool. I like the shot. I really like the shot a lot, though.
Great perspective. Every time Craig shows drone shots of something, it makes me wish that my drone flew without Tourette's. So
there's a cure for that. It's in your wallet. There's a credit card. Just order a new drone, man. Stop being so cheap.
No, I just broke my iPad broke. I cracked the screen, so I got to fix that now.
Oh, it just spontaneously broke, or did some outside force break it?
I honestly don't know. I went to
use it's a mystery, right? Yeah. Oh, I hate that.
My pencil was kind of catching on something, and I'm like, what the heck is that? I look, it's a hairline crack.
Oh, yeah. That won't mess with your OCD at all, will it?
I'm putting a glass.
That thing is garbage now to you. It's dead to you. You can't even look at it.
No, it's it.
I love it. All right, cool. All right, let's move on. Hey, Trevor's in there. Hey, Trevor. Trevor's in the chat. He says a little less tree line at the top, and you think there's still some room on the left to crop. Yeah. Yep. Love it. I love having the other feedback in the critiques.
I want to know what Trevor's icon is. I can't in his little avatar in his YouTube thing. I can't figure out what that is. It looks like a person, but is it a rendering? Is it like an?
That looks like it looks like a, I don't know. It looks like a Fortnite costume.
Yeah, it does.
Thing going on. All right, moving on to the next shot here. All right, Craig Colvin. Look at that fire. Outcast. I was way too lazy to pull out my strobes that have been put into storage, so I did light painting instead. These sunflowers are not oversaturated. They actually look like that. Oh, look at that.
Wow. That's really
cool. Look like, I knew this would speak to you because the light painting for sure, but these look like they're bursting into flames or something, and there's some DNA helix in you that's like flames. Good.
Yeah, it's so easy to light things on fire. It really is. Just a match and some lighter fluid. I love this. I love the story of this. The light painting is great. We just don't see a lot of light painting, and light painting is such a great way to control your light on your subjects. So
yeah,
I dig it. I do wish though that the outcast was not in the vase. I kind of feel like with that title,
like laying on the ground.
Yes. Yeah. Just outside of the other vase, right? Like in Toy Story or whatever, or in that episode of Twilight Zone where the toys are in the can, right? Like this one is just laying there, like it just got kicked out.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because the two vases kind of, I agree. If it just had the one with that one flower laying out, that would have added more tension to it. Yeah, it's tough. That's tough. I don't know, because I kind of like it both ways, but I'd need to see it the other way.
Well, and this is one of those type of images where the title is steering our perception of the image. And because it's called Outcast, even though the single flower in the single vase, it's bigger in the frame, it's more forefront. So it doesn't feel like that one's the outcast. It feels like maybe the other ones are the outcasts, right? Because they're further away. The vase is smaller. So it's making us kind of like question the image and what is it that we're looking at.
Yeah, like we say, who's the hero? Who's the hero of the image? Is it the lonely flower that's sort of, like you said, the outcast is looking longingly off to the right, while the cool kids are in the background partying together? Or is it the cool kids and the pariah on the right?
Now, if you were to name this Brian, for example, it would work. We would just be like, okay, that's a great image. I love the colors, cool vases, and you wouldn't want to analyze it, right?
Yeah. But what about that light painting though? I like that. I'm a big fan of what he did there. It's probably with like a little pin light or something. He lit this whole thing. That is really interesting, and especially during this lockdown period where you could just go into a dark room by yourself, and with a flashlight, a tripod, and have some fun and create some stuff. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, light painting is one of those kind of things that is very simple once you understand the concept, but you can get incredibly complex and sophisticated with it, layering multiple images and multiple light directions and create kind of an unrealistic light, right?
Or impossible, yeah, an impossible light,
yeah, create impossible light, yeah. Really worth, if you don't play a lot with light painting, really worth spending some time doing.
I dig it, very cool. All right, moving right along. Craig Colvin, thank you for that. Outcast. All right, next shot up is from Michael DeRay. And Michael says, thorns are a part of life.
Oh, wow.
Let's take a look at this, baby. Look at that.
Oh, very.
Didn't he say something? I was reading in the comments here. Oh, yeah. He said, Lamb says, what is that bright green background? And Michael said, just a splash of watercolor paint on a piece of black poster board. Look at that. And that's how we got that the background. That's killer, right?
Yeah. That's really great. I love this. I really do. I like the abstract nature of it. I feel like the corners are a little bit too dark. I wish that they vignetted a little bit, but that's just kind of me being picky. It feels like it's vignetted too heavy, right? Like somebody got carried away in the darkroom.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because like we always say with vignettes, it should just be just a hint, and you should, if you notice the vignette, then you might have gone a little bit too far.
Right. And I'm just kind of playing with the crop with my hand. I'm wondering if we need that left thorn in there, but I like it. I like the fact that I have to look at it to figure out what it is. Good Dog says, Troy quotes, I wish it was in black and white. I do.
Yeah. Yes. You're resisting saying that, right?
I think
Good Dog, he'd say, I wish it was in black and white with a border. That's the Troy way.
It's already bordered.
Yeah, it is bordered. It is.
Yeah. And I know that, Michael, I know you spent time and you made that green background. So I mean, but realistically, this has sort of a monochromatic nature to it already, right? We don't have a lot of color. It's just that green is so powerful. It's taking us away from the thorny subject.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, it's art. This is conceptual art. Like Trevor says, cut it in half and make it a diptych. I think that will work really well. Yeah. If you cut it like right between those two plants, like right in here, and made it two separate images, that would be really, you could, I mean, there's so much you can do, right? So much.
Yeah, and Trevor was actually referring to Colvin's image, but
was he? I was talking about this one.
Yeah, he posted that right before we switched. It would work on this one too.
Yeah, right? It would.
That rogue thorn on the left. Yeah, it would work on this one too. I do like this. I think this is something worth exploring more and doing more in a series.
Michael DeRay, the artist, is in here. He says the black is the poster board on the background.
Oh, okay. So it's natural.
It's not the vignette. Yeah, it's natural. That's not a post processing vignette.
It feels like it to us. I mean, that's just us layering in our past lives of darkroom. Yeah. Our past trauma in the darkroom. You mean like trying to get that one print right for all morning? I miss the darkroom. I miss that smell.
In my day,
what a candle that smells like Fixer.
Yeah, I remember like it was yesterday. We used to sit in the dark room at Yokota Air Base in Tokyo when I was there. We were in the dark room printing all day, and I remember we'd have this old cheap radio, and I remember the radio. It was a little Sony radio tape deck up on the shelf, and we used to play. Everybody had different mixtapes, but we had this one mixtape we play all the time for some reason that had a bunch of MC Hammer songs on. So we'd be developing black and white prints. Me, because usually it was two airmen in there, so it'd be us back to back on other sides of the room with the, as we work through our process. I missed that. I missed those days.
All
right.
Who is the black and white photographer of old that used to do the composites in the darkroom? Like there's a tree with a house on it. There's a scene where he did all these composites in the darkroom, and that's what made me want to be a photographer, was seeing his stuff.
Really? Find that. That'd be interesting to see. Yeah, that's historic.
I don't want to get distracted doing it. Somebody might know who I'm talking about. It was a long time ago. He did this scene where he threw water and stuff. He threw up in the air, and there's a black cat in the scene. He did it all in frame. Then he also did these weird. I'm mixing artists now. All right, I'll just stop talking.
Yeah. Are you sure this actually happened in reality, Troy, or was this like during like a mushroom era or something? Oh my gosh. All right, cool. Moving right along. Thank you, Michael DeRay, for that shot. That's awesome. And it's cool that you like all the work that went into. Let me bring that back up.
I got it. I found it.
Oh, you found it. Where is it?
Jerry, his name is Jerry Uelsman. Uelsman.
Uelsman. All right, somebody Google it. All right, we'll Google it and put it in the notes, maybe.
Oh God, this stuff is amazing. All done in the dark.
All in camera, or all in camera and darkroom.
Darkroom, yeah, and some of this stuff literally rivals what you would see done with Photoshop. It is exquisite. Yep.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yes.
All right, moving right along. Next up is Peter Levshin. Peter calls this one IR out in the sticks colored. Let's take a look.
Yeah, this was during Peter's orange phase. He had
a whole orange phase.
He did. Oh my God. So I made this grungy preset for Lightroom, and I gave it to Peter, and he literally used it on everything. He used it on his infrared, and it made everything orange. And he rolled with it, and it just looks crazy cool. Yeah. His Mars
I like it. Yeah. I was going to say that. It's very Mars. It's like Mars in mid terraforming effort.
Yeah, we have a folder that Peter and I share called Peter on Mars. That's where he puts all of his images in that we share.
Of course. All right. Well, since you had a hand in this shot, why don't you critique it? What do you think?
It's for me. I love the difference, right? The thing that when you look at it, it's recognizable, but it's not. You have to stop and think, like, why is it orange? Why are the colors the way that they are? I really like that. I wish that the foreground Joshua tree stood out more. So I would probably go in there and spend some time and dodge the tree a little bit to kind of bring it out so it pops a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I do like it. And I like the fact that it's odd. It's off, but recognizable.
Have you ever tried, this is a complete non sequitur, but have you ever tried light painting with infrared, like with a flashlight with an infrared filter on it so that it's only shooting out infrared light? Is it even possible to do that?
It is possible. I have done it with a strobe. I have not done it with a flashlight. So yeah, there's actually infrared flashlights that you can get that would work. They're used for hunting.
Oh, okay. And then you wear goggles that are sensitive to infrared.
Yep.
That seems like cheating, though. That's cheating. Come on. You can't be hunting given you already have an advantage. You're gonna be able to see in the dark against the poor animals.
Yeah, it depends on what you're hunting, right?
Yeah. This is a cool shot, though. I dig it. Like, it is very otherworldly. It's very Dune.
Yeah,
the planet Dune.
Yeah, it is a little bit off center, so I would crop the right side, and there is a dust spot on the right. kind of a third of the way down from the top. So I would make sure you get rid of those spots.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, right there. Right. Yeah. Look at that.
So
Attention to detail.
Michael Rhino says, so an infrared flashlight has to be another addition to my upcoming list. Yes and no. You can do the same thing with just that inexpensive infrared filter, the lens filter, like a 720 nanometer filter. Just tape it over the front of a flashlight. You'll be fine.
And Low Base Guy says, Doom takes place on Mars. Yes, but I was referring to Dune, D-U-N-E.
Oh, yeah, Arachnus.
Yeah, Arrakis. Yeah, it's Arrakis. Yeah, the spice. The spice is life.
Dib.
Yeah, Paul Muad'Dib. That's coming back. You know they're redoing that, right?
I do.
Yeah, it's been delayed because of Corona, but I can't wait to see that. I hope they please don't destroy it. Please don't destroy Dune. Oh, yeah. Actually, you should start reading that again before the movie comes out. Maybe that's I bought get it fresh in the brain. All right, moving right along to the next shot. Thank you, Peter Levshin. Next shot up is from Ernest Hallett. Ernest says, my first can't, LOL. Can't get any good images in the rain. They said LOL. Then this happened, LOL. In the rain, all the best. Good to see Ernest in here. You know, I did an interview with Ernest a while back. It's on thisweekinphoto.com if you search for it.
Very cool. Okay, so I know you're going to ask about the borders.
You know it's coming.
I'm struggling getting past all of those. It's a bit heavy. It's a bit much. And this is where the actual presentation itself is distracting from what I think is a really amazing photo in the center. So I would do less of that. But just speaking of the image, the center, I really like it.
Mm-hmm. You know, I knew you were going to say that you know, that was probably too much of a border treatment. But what I am curious about is clearly he sampled a color from within the subject to create that inner inlay. Is that a technique you use to frame images, or do you strictly stick to like black and or white depending on the subject?
Sometimes I'll pull a color. It really depends. If I'm going to do, like, for competition, if I want to do an offset key line, like the inside have a little bit of an accent, then I'll pull from the image itself, and usually darken it or increase transparency by like 60% over a black background, so that it goes a little bit darker, but it's the same tone. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Interesting. I wonder even how this would look, because this looks, the way that he's framed this looks like it's framed to be realistic. Like he's got a shadow, an inlay shadow on the upper left here that kind of says that this is a real frame, you know. And even on the inset mats, there's a little separation drop shadow in there to lift them up a little bit. Where do you fall on that? I mean, I know your thoughts on the application here, but should a mat, and me, you know, the word should is suspect here, you know, in any kind of art, but do you think it's effective to make sort of a realistic representation of a physical mat in digital form, or do you just keep it flat? What do you think?
I'm a fan of flat. And the reason is it's so hard to make it look real. And like, for example, in this one, it gives it away that it's not real because the right side of the mats should have an edge that are highlighted if there's a shadow being cast from the left, right? And so the right half is super flat and the left half isn't. So you got to go all the way. But I'm a real fan of minimalism, right? The less is more. Really flatten it out. Yep. All
right. Minimalism, but with that ragged edge on all your photos.
Yes. That's minimalistic.
Because it's only one.
It's only one. It's one color. It's not 7 colors.
Keeping them honest. Keeping them honest, people. All right. Cool.
I do love this, Ernest, and I know we talked about your mat a lot. I definitely want to speak to the image. I really love this. I'm glad that you went and shot in the rain and that you captured this. I love the dew or the water on the flower.
Yeah,
Dark
yeah,
the background is. It really works. So well done there.
yeah, yeah. This is intriguing. It's interesting. You know, anybody that owns a macro lens or a lens that can shoot macro, it is just a world of possibilities that open up that you can even in your yard or around your apartment or wherever you happen to live, that you can just capture these abstract shapes that are like this could be like right next to a dump. We never know,
Right.
But it's you create art out of whatever's around. It's kind of amazing.
Exactly.
All right, Ernest, thank you for submitting this week. Appreciate it. Next up is Karen Sweeney. This Island Autumn. Let's wait
Mine's
for it to
not
load.
Yeah, mine's not loading either.
It's not loading. How come it doesn't load? It doesn't like that
Oh,
photo.
there it goes. I had to do it twice. That's weird.
There it goes. Yep.
Yep. When we are nowhere near each other.
I know. And now look at okay, there it goes. I think this might just be a huge image.
Oh yeah, that's possible. Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. I want to hear what you say about this. And I'm very curious. When I saw this one, I was in my inner Troy Miller, or the outer little mini Troy Miller sitting on my left shoulder, was speaking about this one. And I know what he said. I'm curious what the real one's gonna say. What do you think?
Oh my gosh. I know that you shot this because the color. And I love the fact that there's those warm tones against the green, but they're really not separating. I would make this black and white, and I would pull the greens down and I would bring the red channel up, and they're gonna explode. You're gonna see such a huge separation in there. And I think that's where the magic of this image is that separation, that foreground pattern and the background pattern.
That's not what I thought you were gonna say. Interesting. Look at you zigging when I thought you were gonna zag. I thought you would have said something like suppress the greens in the background and saturate the reds in the foreground a little bit more, maybe, sprinkle some clarity on them or something, so that they really pop out from the green background, so that you can tell that there's more separation there. I didn't consider black and white on this one, because and I didn't consider black and white because it seems like color is a central player in this image. Clearly it's a play on the warm and the green, the orangish and the greenish tones here.
It is, and I don't mean to betray the color of the image, because I know that's really what what she was going for, but it needs that separation, and you could, for example, in Capture One or Lightroom or even in Photoshop, grab that green channel, pull it down, make it darker, grab the red channel or the yellow channels and bring that up a little brighter, a little crisper, a little more saturation. I'm not sure there's enough tone difference to do that in color. But that's why I said black and white would be really amazing, because the foreground color itself has this really incredible shape to it that will pop in black and white, because you can bring those up and lighten them.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, good eye. I love this shot. I would be all over that if I saw that.
Yeah. Infrared for sure too, right?
Infrared, this would probably go flat, because
they're all reflecting the same amount of energy.
Probably. Yeah. I don't think that the red would separate. I would certainly point my camera at it to see, but I don't think this would make much of a difference.
You can't see on the LCD, the live view on your infrared converted cameras. You can't see in infrared, right? You're not getting or are you? Are you getting an accurate, or at least a good idea of what the final image is going to look like, or do you have to bring it in and process it before you see what you got?
You get a really good image. I mean, it's basically, when you're looking through the camera, it's a desaturated color image. I've got a custom monochromatic setting in my camera, so it looks more like what I'm going to do process later. But absolutely, yeah, you see an infrared. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, you see
okay.
It. Yeah,
cool. All right, Nora. That's not Nora. That's Karen Sweeney. Thank you, Karen. All right. Next shot up, Michael Rhino. And Michael says, my entry for the plants critique is this recent photo of a blooming sunflower. I used a Tamrana 150 to 600 at 600, so it appears as a close-up, even though I was standing on the side of a road without trespassing. Yeah, and that's a thing. You know, I think there was a thread in TWiP Pro about photographers this season, the sunflower season, photographers trespassing on land where these sunflowers are growing just to get the shot and get selfies and all that, and kind of pissing off the landowners. So if you are one of those people, don't do that. And if you are considering taking photos, be respectful and stand across the street with a longer lens and get a shot like this, right?
Yep. Yeah. Here we have the poppies, and I know that there are property owners that are mowing. They will mow their poppies. They will go out in the private property and they will mow them so that people will not come take photos of them. And that is an awful thing, because people disrespect property and they're like, look, I don't want you on my land. Yeah, it's been so bad. So good for you for being respectful. That's what we need to do as photographers. We need to set a good example for that. So
yeah.
And you got a great image. I think this is really wonderful.
This is gorgeous. Yeah, I'm having trouble picking a favorite this week, man. This is gorgeous too.
I would take off the right side so that it matches the left side. I don't think we need that extra space there.
Unless you're going to put text there.
I was gonna say, channeling.
If this is we're in the journal magazine mind frame, right? If this is a 2-page spread and you want that space.
Yes, absolutely. And I am a huge fan of that when it's necessary. Right now, that negative space doesn't add anything. So, well done on getting that composition, and it's very sharp. I mean, even the fuzz on the stem.
I know. Feels like you're going to cut yourself just looking at it.
Yeah. And I think this is one of those images that benefit from being shot with a really long lens, because it compresses the image. So the stem, the leaves, the head of the flower all kind of feel the same mass. And then it pulled all those in the background closer, even though they're out of focus. I really like that a lot. I think that's really great.
Yeah. Very cool.
Even though you had to use a long lens to get this shot, I think that it would be a good intentional shot as well.
Yeah. I want to see like these kind of shots. I would really like to see some behind the scenes shots, like an iPhone shot of the actual area, and then the resulting shot that you did and processed. It'd be really interesting to see sort of the context of the shot.
Right. And Michael Rhino says in the chat, he says, good suggestion on taking out some of the negative space on the right. I was trying to follow rule of thirds, but realized that there are times when the subject matter belongs in the center. I would say, Michael, that your subject is the head of the flower, not the entire flower, right? So you followed the rule of thirds, even if you crop off the right side, because the subject matter, the head of the flower, think of it like a person, you put the head or the face on thirds. So you've done that either way.
Yeah. Cool. I love getting the feedback from the artists in the chat as we're discussing their images to get a little bit more insight.
Definitely.
All right. Moving right along. Thank you, Michael Rhino. All right. Next shot. Second to the last, but not least, is from Lamb. Hey, Lamb. Lamb says, my entry for theme plants, the living and the dying side by side. Bring that up. Nice. Abstract. Very abstract. Very cool.
I do. And this is one of those things, because of where Lamb lives, I don't get to see this type of plant action very often. So it took me a little while to figure out what was going on here. I wish it was a little tighter, a little bit more abstract, so we don't need all the space at the bottom. But I love the color of the green contrasting that amber.
Yeah, I agree. The colors, I'm a big fan of the colors. I would have liked to see it punched in a little bit just to create, because all this darkness out here, it gives it context. You kind of get a feeling for where it is in the time of day a little bit, but to crop in tight would really make your brain, kind of wonder what's happening, because it's just sort of backlit foliage, the dead and living, so I think that would have been kind of a cool yin yang representation.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is something that this is an image that if I seen this in nature, I would want to come back to it over and over, because I love the pattern and the contrast, even if I don't know that that's, a living and a dead part of the plant, I still like the colors and the play. So definitely something to spend a lot of time with. I like it.
Yeah. Yep. For sure. Beautiful. Thank you, Lamb. Love it. All right. And last but not least is our friend, Mr. Joshua Sommerfeld. Joshua says, "Beauty alone in the dark." Bring this up. Look at that.
I love these. I really love these. I'm very biased to these. I like these a lot. I watch him edit these on stream, and these are really, really wonderful.
Yeah. What would you change? What would you change, if anything, of this shot?
I don't know that I would change a lot. I mean, it kind of depends on what you're going to do with the file. I might clean up the petals ever so slightly, but not too much. I like the character, the personality in there. I don't think I would add anything to this. I mean, honestly, it's really, really, really nice. I know that he masked out the outside edge of this, so maybe I just gave away. I just revealed behind the kimono, as Frederick says. It looks perfectly masked. It feels a little flat in the center, like the darks, but I'm sure that's mighty.
Yeah, if it's not mighty, that would have been my suggestion, would be to bring the center of the flower up a little bit. It feels a little bit dark, and maybe it could be a little bit more contrasty in there. But I love the square crop, obviously, the symmetry of it all, the slightly off balance, even with the petal, this kind of rogue petal over here. I love that. It just makes it really interesting, like what's going on here.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously he wanted that background completely black, which speaks to what we were talking about at the beginning of post-processing with intent. So he knew what he wanted. I wonder if he shot this with this in mind, or if this processing, i.e. very stark black and white, completely abyss background, was that what the artist Joshua had in mind when he shot this, or did it just sort of pop up later as he was in post-processing, saying, maybe it'll look better like this, let me drop that background out? Or was it at the time of capture that he was thinking that?
Right. And one of my favorite elements of this image, the more that I look at it, is the pattern interrupted. The petal that's at 3 o'clock. If you were to take that out, I'm not suggesting that you do, but if that was to come out, you have this perfect 11 and 1 and 10 and 8, right? You can see that balance in the flower.
Yeah.
But because that petal's there, it adds that nuance of interrupting that pattern, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's throwing off your Fibonacci brain when you look at it. It's like, wait a minute, that's not right. Something's wrong here. There's some tension in there. Yeah. No, and Joshua's in the chat. He says, yes, that's one of the few times I pre-visualized. Yeah, cool. So he did see this before he pressed the shutter. Very cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm a fan. One of my favorites. See, this is gonna be a hard one. It's gonna be a hard one. But you know what, Troy Miller, you chose this topic, plants. So you get to pick the winner or not. We don't have winners. We have, subjective favorites is what we have. So
okay, I'll pick 2. I'll let you pick the.
No, you can only one. This is not liberal T-ball. Come on, this is. There's a winner and a loser. No, there's no losers, but there's a favorite. Come on.
I'm really torn. Normally I have a pretty clear favorite ahead of time, and I really don't. I really love Nora's because I love the B in there, and I really love Peter's because it is sort of that normal but different.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. See, now we're at an impasse. So we're gonna have to throw it to the. We're gonna have to go Roman style and throw it to the crowd in the Coliseum to vote. Because I'm looking at Michael Rhino's. I love the Sunflower, and I love Joshua's because of the intent and the pattern interrupted and all that. So those if we had an overlapping choice in there between our two favorites, then that would be the favorite. But we have two completely. So throwing it to the chat room. Chat.
I'm looking
Chat.
at the stream over here. I really love them all, and I think that they, the community did an amazing job at representing the topic. I think that for the topic that it is, I'm gonna go with the Sunflower.
Okay, we've got 2 votes. We've got Stampley saying Sunflower, and he's in there.
Okay.
He's not even voting for his own. Good Dog is saying the B. Nora's a notness shot.
But topically, it's less about the plant and more about the bee. So I feel like
the topic of the critique is plants. So
is the plant, yes. The same thing with Peter's image. It's wonderful, but it's not really plant. So then I got to start like looking at the plant aspect of it, and I feel like the Sunflower, it's all plant, right? It's colorful. It's yeah. I'm gonna the foot has spoken.
So which one are we going with?
Michael
Rhino's. Yes, good.
Good Dog says rationalize all you want.
Because if you didn't pick that one, I was going to override you and pick that.
Oh.
Because that one is awesome. I want to see that one on the site. That looks. I mean, they'll all be on the site, but this one looks fantastic. I think he nailed it with this one, and the underlying story of photographers being sensitive to being on people's lands, and how he was sensitive to get this shot. He wanted the shot, but used his gear to get the shot without being that guy infringing on someone's land. I think that's a good part of the story as well. So.
Yeah, when it comes to photographers, I mean, it doesn't behoove us to what is that saying? It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. That is bad. That is not good for us. So
that's bad advice.
Yeah. So thank you, Michael, for the image, and thank you for doing that and letting us know too. So
yeah. So we got to talk about next week's critique. So I'm going to bring up our event page really quick here.
Yes, we already have the next. We've got all the topics all the way through December.
We do. We are all scheduled, and here it is right here. So this is the This Week in Photo events page, which will now be kept up to date and populated. This video embed at the top here, you'll see that change after this. It'll be this week's critique will be embedded there. But below that, you see a calendar of all the upcoming events, which are this is being added to daily. There's still a list of things I have to add in here. You see coming up this Thursday, I'm hosting a live stream with Peak Design about a grant program that they're doing to empower Black photographers and filmmakers. So that guys happening at 7 p.m. on Thursday the 10th. And then our next critique is on the 14th, which is critique number 132, toys. Toys is the topic of that one. And if you want to cheat forward and skip ahead and do homework, there's the critiques for the next couple of weeks in here. We've got after toys, it's strength, then smoke, then joy. So you can get ahead of the game. Don't submit them until asked, but you can submit for toys right now, and we'll go through. If you submit for those other categories early, that screws up the critique because obviously we go in chronological order as they were submitted, and we'll have to dismiss those or skip over them, and there's a chance that we won't remember for the next critique and all that. So submit for the week for that week, in that week, or the week prior to that critique. For this next one, you have 7 days to get your toy photos. And any thoughts on toys, Troy Miller? Like, how should they approach the toy critique?
Well, keep in mind that these images from now until the end of December 21st, I think is the last one, is the winners are going to be going into an image competition. So that's why we're giving you some of these topics ahead of time so that you can spend time and you can work on them. So focus on the topic. The topic needs to be represented really, really well. So if you're too clever, we may not get it. So create images or submit images that speak to the topic, as well as, you know, creativity and things like that. So good Duchess. So no bees. Wait, you can have bees, just not as the subject. Not against the rhino. It's hard. It's hard for bees to compete with the rhino.
That's true. That's true. Joshua had he said that's another repeat topic, and you said yes, there are a few repeats. You want to talk to that a little bit? The mindset behind repeat topics.
So as I'm going through and I'm picking topics, I don't want to make everything really hard. So some of the topics, like strength, is going to be really tough. It's hard to represent that. So I want to give that one ahead of time. Toys, I think toys are pretty easy to shoot, right? Like, we have toys. It's something we can do in our room, in our space. So I'm trying to, if it's an easy topic, I might throw it in to repeat it. If it's a hard topic, give you guys more time. But I think it's a good subject, and I think it'll get a good participation. That's why I'm repeating some of those.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with repeating a topic from time to time. So, you know, on the one hand, it gives people that participated in that topic before another shot at it. And you could, you know, in a lot of ways, it's more educational because you see what other people did before, and you can try to one up them or do something different or be inspired by what they did. There's so many different ways. We could run the same topic every week if we wanted and get different shots every week. So it's not that big a deal that we repeat topics.
Yeah, and we're going to have, I'm looking at my list, we're going to have open topics. I'm kind of revealing the system, but we're going to have open topics almost like every fifth critique. So we create some open stuff too. You know, if you got some stuff that you really love, save it, because there will be some open topics.
Yeah. And as far as the schedule goes, at thisweekinphoto.com/live. So if you go there, I'm not going to post out the entire year that Troy gives me, you know, in terms of what the critique topics are, but we'll probably stay about 4 to 5 weeks out in advance. So, you know, just to give you a window of 4 to 5 weeks, is the idea the idea behind me posting these events early is to not have you shouldn't have to scramble for an entire, you know, just for that week to get your shot in there. If you have an idea for a shot that fits in the strength category, you should just be able to knock it out and do something cool and then put it in a folder to get ready for that week and then submit it when we do the call for entries. So, right. Yeah, should just kind of make things a little less just in time and a little more intentional. That's the word of the week. Intent.
Go forth with intent.
Go forth and create with intent. So next week is toys. This week was plants, and our winner was Michael Rhino, right?
Yeah.
Winner. Our favorite was Michael Rhino. So
the Rhino.
Yep. I am excited. This is cool. I love doing these things. These are really fun. You know, I want to bring up, before we end the stream, I want to bring up this guy. I got to get faster at operating StreamYard. Okay, here we go. Chrome tab. There we go. What's that? Huh?
That's Jerry Uelsman.
Yeah. So this is the photographer you were talking about.
Yeah.
Where's that shot? Oh, look at that. Yes, I remember that shot. Yes.
Yeah. I tried to do that. And the exercise that was given to us in the darkroom was to make a globe, a sphere in the darkroom on a blank piece of paper. and I still have the photos. Basically, you cut a hole in a in a card, and you have to dodge and burn that circle in a way that it looks like a sphere. I never got it, but his stuff is.
So there was an exercise in highlights and shadows and modeling and all that. Yeah.
Yep. Helps you understand
Really cool.
perspective and shape and color and just all those things. Yeah.
Look at that compositing work. And this is all in camera or in darkroom, right? So this is in darkroom, which is just like this is pre-Photoshop. Pre-Photoshop. Imagine creating something that looks this realistic pre-Photoshop.
Good Dog says, so we're taking advice from a failed photographer student. I just failed at that assignment.
Just that one time, right? Just that one time. So what? He's not good at highlights and shadows. Do you really need highlights and shadows in photography? Oh man, that is cool.
Yeah,
yeah, man, this is insane. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there's a bird there too. Notice that?
I see that, the little raven down there. Yeah. Yeah, like I wish I could zoom in. I can't click on the photo to zoom in on it. It's not allowing me to do that. But yeah, I wanted to zoom in on that raven to see his shadow work. Like cuz with compositing, and maybe the raven was already there on the base of the tree, so he didn't have to worry about it. But you know, when you're compositing in elements into a photo like that, there's multiple shadows that you have to be cognizant of, right? There's the contact shadow, then there's the lift shadow, and then there's the cast shadow, and then if there's multiple light sources, the other shadows that those multiple light sources cast, and you got to make sure that those shadows are congruent with the other objects of the scene in order to sell it, because at an instant when someone looks at that photo, their brain instantly sees something wrong if any of those shadows are missing or out of alignment or something. So imagine the flexibility that you have in Photoshop. Now imagine trying to do that in a dark room with a sheet of paper, and you know it takes you 5 minutes per in order to get one that's slightly better than the last one. You just got to keep going and keep going. So
yeah, I've always felt that looking at his, and I have a mood board that's full of Jerry's images, which I don't know why I couldn't remember his name, but it's very humbling, I think, to look at the kind of work that he has done in a dark room with mechanical processes, and we have all of these. I'm watching the stream. People pop in the stream. Hey everybody.
Hey everyone.
You know, it's sort of humbling for us to realize, like, oh my gosh, like I have Photoshop, like I should be able to do that fairly easy. And
we're getting rated. Shoe rated us. Shoe rated us. Look at that. Awesome. My second stream and second raid right there, baby.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Shoe. Thank you. I love it. I love it. I love getting rated.
I wondered what was happening. I'm like, the chat is blowing up. I'm trying to talk and I can't communicate.
Who are all these people? Welcome to the party. I don't know. You have to call the fire marshal in a minute. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh no, you didn't derail the conversation. No, we were just wrapping up. We were wrapping up the critique, and we were talking about because we were actually showing this. Let me go over to that tab. Yeah, so some of this work like this from Jerry Ulzman, and he's a photographer that I don't know if he's still shooting. Is he still around? I don't know. I feel bad not knowing this. But he's a photographer that specialized in composite work like this pre-Photoshop. So all of this is done without the benefit of layers or channels or masks or paths or Lightroom or Capture One or any of that. It's all in the darkroom, which is crazy. And there's a darkroom right there. So, God, I need to watch this video. So,
yeah, I'm wondering if he's still alive. Is he still alive? It doesn't say. I looked it up online. I don't know. You should find him.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely find him. We'll definitely find him. Hey, I'm on my way to becoming a Twitch. What is it? Affiliate or something like that? You know, I'm getting people are liking me. People are liking the Twitch stream and following the stream. I think, what do I have to get? Low base guy. What do I have to get? How many followers do I have to have in order to?
Oh, you're one follow away, says Shu.
Oh, look at that! Look at that! 50 followers. Okay, I have to have 50. All right. I feel like I can do that. That feels like it's a stretch goal, but I feel like I can get there.
Yeah, you can.
He says done, and I got 50. Woo!
Oh man,
No, I have to satisfy the rest of the things, but I can scratch follower off the list, or the number of followers. That's cool. Thank you everybody for following me. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that. This is cool. So for the folks that just came in before we started talking about the compositing pre-Photoshop stuff, we were talking about the critiques and how they're going. So at thisweekinphoto.com/live, which I'll share again real quick here. That is actually, it's thisweekinphoto.com/live. This is where our calendar is, and up at the top of the page is where the most recent live program is. So after we finish the stream, it'll show up here. And then down below is our calendar. So you can see the upcoming topics. And if you click on them, they'll show you where they're being broadcast to. So the Twitch link is in there and all that stuff. So all you got to do is remember thisweekinphoto.com/live. And if you want to check out the critiques, they're every Monday at noon Pacific. That's it.
Yeah.
So, very cool. Very cool stuff. All right. Well, I think we're just about ready to wrap this one up. We've been going for about 90 minutes. I know that's about 90 minutes shy of where I should be. Yeah. But fortunately, got work. It's Labor Day, though. Troy, aren't you taking Labor Day off? It's Labor Day. Come on.
Yeah, this is what I do. Every day I'm doing something every day. So I'm going to go do, I'm going to stream pottery today.
You're going to stream it on Twitch?
I did already. I streamed a couple days ago. I streamed a whole bunch of me throwing pots, and that was super fun. I wanted to do a test to see if I could do it from my laptop on Wi-Fi, and I ended up streaming for, I don't know, almost 3 hours, and I made a whole bunch of pots, and I'm going to trim them today and kind of finish that. So probably in a couple hours, I'll go out there and get ready to do that.
Oh, so I want to watch that. Yeah. How do you engage with the chat when your hands are busy making pottery?
I have figured out a cool system. Thank you, Joshua, for helping me. I have my phone sitting right in front of me. I turn off the auto lock, right? And I set it on brightness, and that's the chat only. So I see the chat. I have my laptop sitting over here far from the clay, so the clay isn't flying everywhere. And so my hands are gooey, but I got my AirPods in. I'll use my AirPods, and I'm able to chat. So it's great. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So
when you're making these pots, like, do you have music playing in the background, and is that music enchanted melody? From
No, and I've never heard that joke before. That's funny.
I know you hear it every single time, and it's going to continue. I'm sorry, it has to. It goes along with pottery. I'm just saying.
Michelle came in the stream, and the first thing she says was, "Where's Patrick Swayze?" And it's just me. You just got to have me.
Yeah. Demi Moore, Patrick. Now I have to go watch that again. See what you did to me.
Yeah.
Before we end this, I'm curious. You and I talk about sci-fi a lot.
Yeah.
Offline and online. What are you watching right now? Because I just watched this show. What's it called? Raised by Wolves. Have you seen that one? This is the weirdest thing. It is. They've been making these series on, I don't know, Netflix and Hulu that are not what you expect them to be. So you watch it, normally you can watch something, you sit down, you're like, okay, I know what's going to happen. I know this is a trope, right? This one, it's like, okay, wait, what just happened? It's one of those. It's called Raised by Wolves. I'm trying to find out which network it's on right now. I want to say Hulu. No, it's not. It is HBO Max. It's on HBO Max. Same network that Lovecraft Country is on. Yeah, Low Base Guy. Yeah, it is. A Good Dog says there's a free episode of Raised by Wolves on YouTube. So check it out if you don't have HBO Max.
I am actually not watching anything right now. I am in between. I am doing audiobooks. So I just finished Howl's Moving Castle, and I don't know what my next audiobook's going to be. I'm probably going to do Flux.
FLUX.
FLUX, yeah. It's a crazy sci-fi time warp, world falls apart kind of, and it's great because I can edit, I like doing pottery, and I can listen to the audiobook. So usually not.
I'm in the middle of re-listening to We Are Legion, We Are Bob. From the Bobaverse. I started that one again. That's when I first started turning you on to these sci-fi books. That was at least my set of sci-fi books. That was one of the first ones you listened to, right?
Yeah, that was one of my favorite. And I watched I watched an interview with him, the artist or the author. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, name. On Google.
He had never written before. He's not like a career writer. I thought that was fantastic, but he's got a creative mind. So
yeah. It was so interesting because in that interview he goes, yeah, I listened to or read someone's book and I thought I could do that, and he did it.
He did pretty good. Yeah,
he did pretty damn good. Yeah, no, it was pretty. Good Dog says finished Dark, even if season 3 wasn't the end of it for me. Yeah, I have to start Dark. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's so much to do. The Boys just launched again, season 2. There's 3 episodes of The Boys out on Amazon Prime Video. If you haven't seen The Boys and you like superhero movies, this is a dark. How do you describe it? Because it's funny, but it's dark, but it's serious. It's kind of like Watchmen, but it's got exploding heads in it and all. It's crazy.
Yeah. I started watching it. I wasn't into it.
Yeah, you don't like that gory stuff. I like it's kind of gratuitous gory.
Here's my theory. The world is dark enough. There's enough dark stuff happening. I don't want to watch a show where bad people are doing bad things. I don't. I need to escape the badness and the craziness, and I want to be elevated away from that. So I'm just not a big fan of that kind of stuff. Yeah,
that doesn't bother me. I don't watch them, and get depressed by looking at that kind of stuff. I look at them more from a how did they do that, and is this plot different than the 9 bazillion other movies or shows that came out before it, and more from that kind of entertainment value. But I agree with you. My girlfriend likes to watch the seedy underbelly of humanity shows like Hoarders and To Catch a Predator and this and all these kind of shows that just show people that aren't very happy or at their worst, and she kind of works in that field too, so she kind of likes it. I, on the other hand, like fantasy. I would, if I had a choice, my desert island genre would be positive science fiction, utopian future type stuff, where it's like Star Trek, right? Where it shows where the world could go, where, people getting along, like all these different alien races kind of chilling together and, working together on a show, all that kind of stuff. I kind of like that. The next level back from that is dystopian futuristic stuff, which is your genre, right, Troy? Like with the Mad Max, everything's gone to hell and we're surviving eating rats and recycling urine, that kind of thing.
I don't know why I love that. I don't know why. It's just it's so I don't know. It's sort of a leapfrog over where I am today. There is a series called The Expanse that I really loved. That was, I think it was on Netflix or Amazon Prime. I don't know. It's sort of a sci-fi space. I dig it. So good. But I'm in a decompression mode right now where I'm getting away from media like movies and shows, and I'm getting more into like audiobooks and trying to do other stuff. So
yeah. Oh, Craig Stanfley, look at him looking out for the community. Craig Stanfley says, gents, Kai just posted an image for this critique. Do you have time to take a look? Why not? Why not? What if it's the favorite though? What if we like it better than? What if we like it better than everyone else? Okay, I'm gonna find it. Tap dance and entertain the troops while I bring this up, Troy.
Oh well, I was just saying. So Good Dog just said the Expanse was based on books. So you know what? I need to look up the audiobooks. I need to look up the audiobooks for that. That would be super cool. If you like Audible and you have audiobooks, I don't know if it's still on sale, but the Chronicles of Narnia, which I think is a good series, 1 credit you get the entire series. That's pretty cool.
Oh wow. We may have a problem, Houston. This shot's pretty damn good. There we go. This is from Kai. Kai just posted this. Oh, let me read what he wrote. He just posted this when he says, "Time to get back into the game. Submission for plants. Pandering to the judges. Don't say judges. Judge. The one judge has a black and white fetish. Pandering to the judges with a black and white submission. However, removing the color puts more emphasis on the subject with thorns." Yes. All right. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Look at that, baby.
Sexy, very alien looking, sort of fits into our sci-fi alien topic. Yeah, I love it. I love the symmetry. I like the fact that it's dead center. I would probably play with moving that off center a little bit, putting it on thirds, but I like it that way. And the black and white definitely works good to bring out those thorns.
Yeah, no, this is an excellent play on just the patterns and, suppressing the detail and bringing out those thorns. Yeah, this is cool. Yeah, and I think he was right to drop the color out of it because, that would have been distracting. Not completely distracting, but with the color gone, it looks more geometrical. Is that what I think? You can see the patterns more, or there's more emphasis, like he said, on just the thorns versus the plant itself.
Yeah, it's full of triangles. It's full of stuff. Yeah, it's full of triangles. I like it.
Cats are made of triangles, by the way. If you look at a cat, they're all triangles. That's it.
I know. Yeah, great image. I think we chose well. I think Michael Rhino's would still be one of my favorites. I like this.
Yeah. I think this would still be up there in the favorites. This would have made the decision harder.
Yeah.
We'll stick with the Rhino.
See, Kai's not used to the fact that we start on time now. We used to start sometimes really late in the day.
Yeah, it's interesting because these are scheduled now. Thanks to Low Base Guy, he included me in that I should schedule my Twitch stream. So I created a schedule for these critiques every Monday at noon. So, but apparently there's some tweaking I need to do there just to make sure that people get notified in time. And also these will be scheduled out on Facebook and YouTube as well, same time. So
right.
Low Base Guy, when your unreliability is reliable. Yes. Yes. At least be consistent with your unreliability, right? Right. So, well, cool. All right. Well, anything else, Troy, before we end the stream? Thanks everyone for coming. I'm blown away. It's a total of 31 people, which is the most I've ever had watching this stream before. And I think that's a cumulative total between all the services I'm streaming to, but still, it's pretty cool. It's growing. The trend line is up and to the right, which is where we want it. So.
Yeah, it's good. No, we talked a lot about image competition and the critique. So get those images submitted and keep an eye on what's coming up next on the blog, on your schedule that you posted. So that gives everybody time to submit. And remember, we're going to have a competition at the end, so there will be a winner that'll get stuff or something.
A lot of stuff. I'm working on that stuff now. It's going to be a big deal. And if not, we'll just have to have Peter Levshin write a check or something, just call it a day.
Send you bucks. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for coming along for this stream. I appreciate you. I appreciate this. This is amazing. We're going to make a habit of this every Monday, unless... And I used to say, unless something goes horribly wrong with the world, we won't do it. That's becoming more and more feasible. But unless something goes crazy wrong, we'll be doing these critiques every Monday religiously at noon U.S. Pacific time.
Yeah.
All right, folks.
I think,
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I think I'm going to have to talk to Joshua and find out. I think I can stream your stream on my stream. I think. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, right. So that it'll be streaming there too. I can
Hey,
host.
I did figure out how to. I think I did it. We'll see after this is over. But when Shu or Joshua go live, I think I've configured my channel to broadcast them when I'm not broadcasting. So it'll automatically stream their stream when they go live if I'm not. Yeah, it's called hosting. Yeah. So
hi,
yeah,
Kiki.
I'm hosting both of them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we got to figure that out. Yeah. Yeah. Your auto host list. All right. We got to figure
That's
that
where
out.
I added both of their channels to my auto host list today. So very cool. I think I'll put Michelle in there and Marley and a couple other ones in there too. So should be cool. So hopefully there'll always be some traffic going on. And as the TWiP channel grows, I can, spread the love back to those folks.
Yeah. Perfect.
Hey, Kiki's in here. Hey, Kiki.
Yeah, I just noticed that. Yeah, it comes in right when we're just getting ready to pop off. But
I know.
We'll be back. We'll be back.
We'll be back. We'll be back. All right, off to watch some science fiction. I got one more episode of The Boys to watch, and and a bunch of other things.
I'm gonna go set up for my pottery trimming.
Very cool. All right, I'm out of here. Thank you, folks, for coming on, and I will. Oh, Joshua says so. We're not raiding. Yes, I do have to raid. Oh, this is so hard. Why does it have to be so hard? All right, I'm gonna try to do it. I'm gonna try to raid. Stand by. Let's go to my dashboard.
Kiki says, "Oh, you guys there's 2 people in here. I don't know. Barely fit, or
this is so hard." Yeah. Wait a minute. Joshua's a mod on my channel. Joshua, can't you raid for me, or do I have to raid?
Just type /raid space at
MK. Wait. He says I'm gonna try. I don't think he can. MCK OONAMATA. Jeez. Okay,
there you go.
Let's try it. Here we go. Let's try it.
Typing is hard.
Yeah, it's too hard. Here we go. I'm trying to raid. Let's see if it works. It's thinking. It's thinking. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's because I'm in StreamYard. Oh, it says an error occurred. I don't think I can raid from within StreamYard. Let me do it from Twitch.
It says it's going to happen.
It did?
Rating, with 22 raiders. I don't know.
We're trying to figure this out. This needs to be much more much more friendly to humans. Yeah, we gotta. Okay. Now I see me. Let's see, video producer. Where's all my crap?
It's made for kids.
Clearly, it's made. Don't say that as if it's a good thing. I just want everything in one spot where I can just click buttons. Okay, here goes raid channel. Okay, I'm gonna pick the channel. Okay, MCK. There we go. All right, here we go. We're preparing to raid right now. We're starting the raid in 8 seconds. Here we go. Going over. All right. Thanks, everyone. If you're watching on another network, you don't know what I'm talking about. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and end the broadcast now. Thanks, Roy.
All right.
You can hang around. I think you can just hang around. You don't have to. I can end the broadcast. You can still hang in here for a minute.